Good morning, Year 8. Okay, so the video that I'm doing today is going to be your work for the next 7 days. Okay, so you've got an entire week to finish this off. Your do now task is on the board though first, and what you need to do is work out which poem belongs to which picture of the ones that we've been studying. And the challenge there is, can you recall any lines from the poems or any individual words from the poems, key quotations that we've looked at? Pause the video, do that now. Okay, so our lesson today is looking at coming up with a creative approach as a response to the poetry that we've looked at. The answers to your do now task, first of all, we've got blessing for A, and you've got some key quotes there. Naked children screaming in the liquid sun, their highlights polished to perfection. B is Island Man, the sun surfacing defiantly from the east of his small emerald island. C, nothing's changed. I back from the glass boy again, leaving small mean O of small mean mouth. And two scavengers in a truck. It's at the stoplight waiting for the light, 9 a.m. downtown San Francisco, a bright yellow. Well done if you got those, well done if you were able to come up with any quotes without cheating, that's amazing. Okay, so your task this week is to create something as a response to a piece of poetry. So the bullet points there, you could do something like a painting, a drawing, a sculpture, a collage representing your vision of the poem. There's more that you could put there too. There's a diorama, which is where you literally make the setting in 3D. Second bullet point, you could retell one of the poems as a comic strip or an animation or using photographs or models. Lego is quite common for that. You can use any of the poems that we've looked at, or you can choose a new poem to suit whatever you want to work with. That's okay. And if you've got any ideas for how you want to respond creatively that are not written on those bullet points, then just get in touch and ask me whether or not it would be suitable, and I can go with that. The last bit there, alternatively, you could reverse this and instead find a piece of art that you like and then use that as the basis for a poem. So let's look at some examples. So there's a picture here, The Man with the Blue Guitar, Wallace Stevens, 1937. Okay, so this is a famous picture, and on the left-hand side of the screen you should be able to see a poem that's been written about it. So I will pause the video, read that now. Okay, next you've got some ways that pages have been written. So the one with the umbrella is, you call that a sort of found poem, and you just isolate some words and ideas from within a page of a book. Okay, so we've done that before as a creative writing activity in the Creative Writing Go curricula. The other one has just got the poem, the words from the poem are there, but the background of that has been beautifully presented with a bird and a ocean landscape there. On this one, you've got two examples of dioramas, okay, or models. So you can do anything like this. I would love to see how creative you can be. That would be amazing. Dulce Decorum Est is a really, really famous poem about World War I by one of the most famous poets in the world, Wilfred Owen, who was a soldier in World War I. And here it's been turned into a comic strip. Okay, and the smaller one there is a different poem also made into a comic strip. So you can do that, but I won't just want little stick figures. That doesn't represent an entire week's worth of work, does it? So just like the ones you can see, there's a background, there's detail, there's words on there too, taken from that poem. So it would need to be a nice piece of artwork if you're going to choose this. This picture is actually my favourite picture, and it's called Starry Night, and it's by Vincent van Gogh. And then next to it you should be able to see that there's a poem written by Anne Sexton in 1961. So the painting predates the poem, so the poem's been written based on the picture. Okay, so again you can pause that and read through that poem. If you want to do things the flip side up, you can come up with some art to inspire your poetry. I will save this PowerPoint in to show my homework, because then that will mean you can visit these links that are coming up on the screen to help you. But alternatively, if you just go to Google and type in Tate Britain, which is the name of the art gallery you can see in the first web address, or National Gallery, which is another art gallery in London, it will then bring up these websites. So the same will be true for all of these other ones. These are particular pictures now that are all within the Tate website website. But you can choose any picture of art that you want to. Banksy's been very popular recently, did some interesting stuff on Black Lives Matter. You could take a piece of artwork for one of your favourite games or books, something like that, and bring that together to represent that in a poem. You can get creative if you're writing a poem with the way that you organise things. Okay, so you can see here that the shape of the words and the way they're presented on the page have been deliberately constructed. They're not just line after line after line. Okay, so be as creative as you want to be with that. Okay, there's something else. If you've got to find a new poem that you've never done before, you've got the Children's Poetry Archive here, where somebody will read you the poems too, and you can spend some time listening to those and choosing what you want. If you have any questions, you can drop me an email, and I will be on hand to help you. I'm at my email all day, every day. The way that I would approach this, and you've got the copies of the poem here at the end. Look, and again, you can pause over those. So those are the 4 poems that we've studied. The way I would approach this, I would spend the first lesson, so today's lesson, I would be looking at all of these web addresses and all of these things and just doing it as a research activity, working out what it is that you want to work with. Okay, when you've done that, that will then leave you around 4 lessons to be able to produce something. And again, with 4 lessons, we would expect the quality of work you're producing to be really decent. Okay, so I don't want any stick figures or anything scruffy. Have a real go. This should hopefully be something that you take real pride in. Okay, and that's great. So the rest of the lessons up on Show My Homework for the remainder of the time you've got this will just be a repetition of this one. Okay, but it starts today. Here is your work. Do some research, work out what you're going to do, and then blow my mind with your amazingness. All right, I'll see you guys next lesson. Take care.